Am I live? Hi. Hi, everybody. Isn't this fun? Hi, I'm Betsy Wolfe. I'm one of the co-founders of BroadwayEvolved, and welcome to my home / BroadwayEvolved headquarters. This is our one bottle of hand sanitizer, in case you were wondering. So this is BroadwayEvolved homeschool edition. That's right, you are social distancing, hopefully quarantining with loved ones. And I'm seeing all these fun comments already. And we are going to be bringing you every day, Monday through Friday, 15 minutes of what I hope will be an encouraging, safe environment where you will learn from the BroadwayEvolved faculty. That's right, Jeremy Jordan's probably here right now waiting for me to press in. Betsy, in. And all different artists from the Broadway community for as long as we think we might be doing this, all for free, because we want you to know what we're about. We love educators, we love students. In fact, later this summer, we have 3 summer intensives. I don't know if you guys can see those. Oh, that's a familiar face. And it's for students and educators. It's a revolutionized educational program that we've turned upside down, and we bring you the best technical training, as well as what we think is a really safe, awesome learning environment that represents what is going on today. Okay, Jeremy is here. Let's see. I'm figuring this out, you guys. Oh, there he is. I see him. Will he be in PJs too? Let's see. Waiting for Jeremy M. Jordan. Betsy, you are the queen. Am I too close?
No, I feel like am I super close?
You're a little close, but I like it.
Well, I have it on my lap. I have it on my laptop, but I'm like 5 feet away. That's so weird.
Well, you should be 6. Remember, social distancing is at least 6 feet away. So let's try and respect that.
I understand.
Jeremy, I'm so glad you're here with us. First of all, welcome to the BroadwayEvolved Homeschool. I would be remiss if I didn't say, though, how are you doing? Who are you quarantining with? And how are you today?
Good today. I'm good, not sick, thank God. Yet. I'm just home with my wife and my daughter and living our lives and staying away from the crowds. I'm lucky enough to be in Jersey. We have a house and a yard and a dog.
You have a backyard. You have some space.
Yeah, so we have some space. And, we can usually go walking around the neighborhood. There's usually not... It's easy to... Wide streets, you can...
Yes.
If you pass somebody, you can be like, okay.
It's a little bit more challenging in Riverside Park, but I'm making it work.
I can imagine. I'm very sorry.
Well, I'm really, really glad that you're here. Look at how funny this is. Did you know this? That's you. Hey.
Oh, look at me. Just wearing a hat.
Look at you. When we used to hug. When we used to, not just...
We'll hug again. We'll hug again one day.
Exactly. So, Jeremy, you've come to BroadwayEvolved for 2 years in a row, which I've always appreciated. And not only are you a brilliant teacher, but you're a brilliant artist. I've had the pleasure of sharing days with you multiple times. And
Thanks.
I have thought a lot about this in the past couple of days.
Okay.
That some of the skills that I am learning to deal with while quarantining, and some of the things that I think that are trying to make me successful at this quarantine are some of the exact same skills that you need as an artist. And I think it's also why ultimately artists have thrived in a certain way when, I don't want to say things have hit the fan, but at times of trial in our world and tribulation, the thing that artists seem to have is that are things that are going to make us resilient in this time. For one thing, for me, it's like a balance of anxiety and bringing that also into my work. Like always acknowledging that fear is going to be in some of my own work too.
Yeah.
and realizing that I'll never master this. I'll never master quarantining, and that's okay to feel like unsafe at times. So I thought I would at least start off with that and say I feel like that's some of the things that make you an exciting performer. Because when I'm on stage with you, I never quite know exactly what you're going to do. And it's one of the things like I love about you as a performer, because I'm always kept on my toes. So I don't
Yeah.
know if you want to speak to that a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I think fear is essential as a performer, and fear is definitely something that I think we're also living in right now. So
Yeah. I mean, I think that for me, when I started performing, it was more out of a sort of way to push my own personal fear aside. Like, I was afraid of speaking in public. I was afraid of like being myself. I was afraid of, getting bullied or getting picked on. And so I would pretend to be other people. Right. And so that was kind of my escape. And I think that works for a little while, but, it has to evolve from that. So, for me, it started out like that. And then as I got older and a little bit more mature, I began to, you begin to understand your fear and you begin to sort of utilize it in new and interesting ways. And then you begin to challenge your own fear. And I think the sort of the best thing that I feel like I can do when I'm in a situation where I am nervous or I'm afraid I'm going to mess up is to challenge that.
and how do
And
you do that? Because we get that all the time, right? Tons of students are always like, "How do you not be nervous?" And I'm like, "No,
well,
it always might come and go. So it's learning
yeah,
to deal with it. So how do you deal with that?"
well, preparation is good, and trusting your instincts and trusting your training. So having training is always a solid foundation for anything, and preparation is the sort of secondary aspect to that foundation. So you have training and you have preparation, and if you've had enough practice and as you get better and better and better, those things will click into place and sort of become your default sensory mechanisms that you use when you're on stage, and then everything else is added on top of that. So say you're going to do an audition or a performance, you know the words, you know the lyrics, you understand what you've prepared, you go out there and you test your fear in a way, like a lot of people, they bring their sides up with them, or they'll put them on the ground, or they'll have like learning like techniques to like remember the lyrics, throw all of that out. Allow yourself the room to mess up. Allow yourself the room to do something that's going to be different than what you prepared, because your preparation is going to lay that foundation for you no matter what. And the way that you create excitement for yourself and discover things for yourself, because is to go out and sort of throw that stuff out and continue to explore and to experiment. Because for me, there's nothing more exciting than seeing someone who's on the stage or in an audition room or in a master class or any sort of setting discovering something for the first time.
Yes, I always say that. I always say it's so much more interesting to watch someone discovering something as opposed to informing us of something they already know.
And exactly, and I think there's also a difference, and this is tricky, but I think there's also a difference between showing someone that you're discovering something and actually discovering it.
Yes.
Like,
because
you
have to be discovering it too, which means you have to be vulnerable and open yourself up.
You can prepare, a moment of change and a moment of like excitement and like a light bulb going off in your song or your scene or whatever. You can prepare that, but if it's not natural, if it doesn't come to you as that, then we're gonna see it pretty easily as that. So I mean, you find new ways in every day. You think of something that will take you into the moment or the scene or the song a little bit differently. You use whatever emotions you were sort of dealing with that day and let those actually inform you. Like, let your fear inform you. If I'm going into an audition and I had kind of a crappy day, or I'm feeling nervous, or like I'm not feeling super confident, or any sort of fear that goes into that. Like, it's just, you can either do one of two things. You can set it aside and try to leave it all outside the door, or you can just take your whole self in with you. You
And
know?
wouldn't you argue that that is going to be far more interesting than the most prepared
Yeah.
version of what you
Yes.
thought you were going to do?
Yes, but only if you have that preparation.
Correct.
Because,
Correct.
you know, I think a lot of teachers tell kids, you know, leave it all outside and go in and be the character. And that's fine if you're like, if like that's your toolbox. You know, if your toolbox is like everything that I've prepared and here it is, and I can't think of any of that other stuff because I'll forget. But I do think that you have to eventually reach the next step, which is like, I've prepared. Like, if you're not prepared enough, sure, leave it all aside and then like use every ounce of your brain to try to remember the words. But I mean, I would argue against that, even because even if you mess up, you can always start over again. You know, generally when people are watching, looking at you, whether you're in a concert or whether you're in an audition, you know, I mess up all the time in my concerts. And
me too. I've seen
and
it.
you just like go with it. You either keep going or you stop and start over, or you like make a goofy face and laugh at yourself. It's a drop in the pan, you know, it's just a moment.
It's also what's so great about like theater too. It's this expectation that the audience and we are there to do something that only happens this one time. So what would you tell a like 15-year-old, a 17-year-old of how to acquire, how to cultivate that sense of like, fear is okay, the unknown is okay? I know that's a loaded question, but like, what would?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all always going to be dealing with that, you know, and dealing with the fact that we are using it, because who else in what other career do you use your fear to like propel yourself forward for success? Like, it's hard to do that, and you're doing it in the moment, and you're doing it often with just one chance.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, the thing that the way to, I mean, for me, honestly, it's just learning to deal with and learning to accept rejection. It's learning to accept failure. It's learning to accept imperfection, because I mean, everything we do is going to have an element of imperfection to it. Now, some people might find that more exciting than, you know, a quote unquote perfect performance. I would, but you know, it's never going to be exactly as you planned. And as soon as you can sort of, I think acceptance, fear, and the acceptance of that fear, and the acceptance of the results of that fear are really, really important to maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself and with your craft. But also, you know, because like, a lot of people get burnt out, and they get burnt out really fast. You know, like most of the people I went to college with aren't doing this anymore. And it's not because they're not good. I mean, a lot of them are really good. It's how you deal with the fear, and it's how you deal with the rejection, and it's how you use that to fuel yourself and to grow. And honestly, you know, a lot of people will find, and many people listening will find, that that's not something that they want to do, and that's okay. Because I know you have, Betsy, and I have developed incredibly thick skins, and we've been successful. And even with the success that we've had, we are still thickening our skin, because it's you know, and as actors, we're very vulnerable, and we're very emotional people, and so it is a bit of a tricky sort of balance to have that thick skin, but also still be vulnerable and still be emotional and in touch with all that stuff, but also to learn to let go of all the other things that, you know, that bring you down, because you will leave auditions feeling, you know, incomplete, and you'll leave performances feeling like you could have done better.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be another time, and if that fear and that sort of pain is too overwhelming for you, and you can't, you know, push forward out of that, then it's okay to take a break from it, or to try something else. I mean, it's a lot of people come into this thinking like, I'm not going to stop until I make it to the top, and it's often not the case. You know, you'll find along that route, you know, other pathways, But the more open you are and the more fearless you are and the more sort of in tune with your own, experience you are, the more those pathways will, if not lead you to the success and the career that you wanted, to a road that's going to take you to happiness.
I could not agree more, especially during this time, learning to live with like all the uncertainty and fear and excitement is truly, I think, what also makes us kind of successful as artists. Two things before you go. What is a Corona confession? I saw this, I think it was on Jessica Voska's account. Maybe other people are doing it too, but I kind of did love it.
What?
I don't know, hashtag Corona confession. I was just curious, is there anything you want to confess during Corona? Like what's been going on? I'll start.
Anything. Oh, you are wearing pajamas.
This is also the first time I've curled my hair in like 2 weeks.
Well, this is exactly what I was wearing on Rosie O'Donnell yesterday.
Wait, did you even change? Did you even like, change for bed or no?
The undershirt is different. Okay. The undershirt is different. But yeah, I definitely worked out yesterday and I still haven't showered. I mean, that's a pretty standard Corona confession, I feel like.
That's a pretty good one. Well,
I think we've been pretty safe. Like, I don't think that, we've only gone out to the store. Like I've got our liquor store here. No, we don't talk about liquor stores. There's mostly kids here. But,
apparently there are many educators here as well.
I know, but there's, I think we're trying to be as safe as possible. And,
yes. And it reminds me of like, in artistic community, I mean, we all have to kind of be in this together. Like, I mean, truly, if there's one thing I'm learning, it's like everyone must play a part. Every role is important. There's no bigger part there's no leads and no ensemble members. Like every single person has to be in this together.
I will say I wrote my congressman for the first time, my senators for the first time.
I did too.
I've always people always say like write to them and call them, and I'm like, but I've never actually done it. And I actually did it.
Maybe now we will do that more going forward and become.
Yeah, because like it's scary, Because for me and a lot of my colleagues and a lot of my friends too, it's just like, what do you, this business that we're in is like gonna be one of the last things to get back on. And even when it does get back on their feet, people's fear of going to the theater and being near other people, it's gonna be real. And like. Then what do you do? Like I'm gonna have to set up a studio in my apartment, much like you have, or my house. Yeah, and get some better lighting. I'm in the basement because the baby's sleeping.
Oh.
She's
still oblivious to this all, which is a kind of a wonderful thing.
It is. She's like literally business as usual, except Dad's home a little bit more.
There you go. Well, I'm really, really glad you guys are staying safe. Thank you for your nuggets of wisdom. I couldn't agree more.
My pleasure.
You are the best.
You too.
So much fun. I can't wait till we get to sing together again. Remember when we used to sing together on the same stage?
Remember how we used to sing Little Shop together, and I was going to do it in real life, and then I didn't?
We are all holding out hope that is still going to happen. I know it will. It's just a slightly delayed.
It's not as exciting as our version, though.
I appreciate that, and I couldn't agree more. In fact,
well, it's just we just made it like more dynamic. It's different in the show. It's just what it is.
Yes, no, it's true. You and I just have sing-offs whenever we meet.
Yeah.
In fact, I will post right after this. I'll post that funny clip of us rehearsing for it with Houston.
Oh my God.
That's one of my favorites. It almost looks like I'm like, no, after you. I'm like, no, after you. Yeah. 6 feet away. So anyhow,
that was right before the Chipotle food poisoning disaster.
Yes, that was right.
Literally hours before.
See, you guys just thought you were getting like a lesson in how to be a better actor. Now you're just finding out all these Corona confessions. Jeremy did get Chipotle food poisoning.
Oh yes, that was a saga.
Quite the time. Thank you for coming to the E and teaching for 2 years in a row. We look forward to having you late this summer, well as whenever this world gets going back. And
yeah, man. Let's do it.
Stay safe, and thank you all for watching. I'm so grateful. Goodbye.
Bye,
I'll
guys.
see you tomorrow at 12. You never know who's going to be on. Oh, I'm not going to reveal yet. You have to check back and see who's going to come at 12 Eastern Daylight Time for more nuggets of wisdom, more Corona confessions, and we love you guys and are grateful that you're here with us during this time. We're all in this together. Bye.